Major League
No,
Journey.
nope,
Oh.
nope, nope, nope.
Hey, look who's back.
Hey, listen,
Hey,
I'm sure it was fun while it lasted, but that shit ain't gonna fly much longer, pal. This is how it goes. Major League Journeymen. We are back. We're back. Dax, Gordo.
Well, me and Gordo have always been back.
I'm sorry. Yeah, you're right.
Gargs is back.
I'm
You
back.
know,
Never left.
our fearless leader is back. But I tell you, I've gotten rave reviews as host. Just my
Have you?
parents. My parents are just like, dude, you're so good as a host. But I don't know, man. It's good to have you back.
Dude, feedback from your cousins is always the
It's
best,
the best.
isn't it? It's
My
so
mom
honest
has
and-
10 burners on social media. It's great.
It's all positive. Everything you said is the right thing. It's just a beautiful existence to live in that bubble. I applaud you, Dax. You got to keep those people close to you, man.
Shout out Cynthia
Uh,
McCarty, legend.
Dart. Yeah, I missed you guys. It was good. It's good to be back. It's good to see you. I wanted to jump right in because I saw a couple stars this weekend, and I don't know how often you get to touch and be in the proximity of stars outside of your mirrors, but the in-person experience that I had was it was significant. I got to watch LAFC St. Louis
Yeah.
in Energizer Park. And a couple of things. I want to start personal, because I got to stand and watch LAFC's warm up from the grass. So I was on the grass, and I haven't been on the grass in a long time. And honestly, it was
Slight humble brag.
no,
Continue.
no, not at all. I'm just saying I haven't been at that. You guys know this. Like, it's hard. It's hard to be down there. I got like PTSD being down there and being around it. And two things I took away from it. It was incredible. Just like the smells and the sounds and just seeing the way the guys move, just being that close to it is just it's something special. And it was so painfully obvious how much faster this league is today. They
Yeah.
fly, man. It's impressive. It's like I just stood there and I was speechless. I didn't even talk, and I just wanted to like watch the touches and the spin on the ball, and just everything it was religious. So I
Jeez.
really enjoyed the 12 minutes of warm up or whatever it was. And then I was treated to the Denny Son star treatment that
Mm.
is absolutely magical. Dude, these guys, Bouanga and Son, and LAFC as a whole, are phenomenal. They
Yeah.
are phenomenal. And I kept going back to, like, I couldn't come up with Landon and Robbie that Gordo, you and I got to play with, was a ton of fun. Their connection was really special. But I kept thinking about Deuce and Oba in Seattle and the way that we had to defend against them, and just the ability for them to work and move and just be so creative and so fun and really dangerous, like incredibly dangerous. Son and Bouanga are unbelievable.
It's insane.
They're unbelievable.
I don't know if we've seen, like you just mentioned, like Robbie and Langdon. Some people, they make me like Obafemi Martins and Deuce, like guys that just it's almost like an unspoken connection, right? I mean, with
Yep.
Jordi Alba and Messi,
Yep.
this is what I said in our countdown show when we spoke about LAFC a little bit. It would have. I don't know what it was going to take for Bouanga or in LAFC to get to the next level, but it only took them signing, by all accounts, the nicest human being on the planet and a guy playing at
It's
a
all
really
about
high
balance,
level
isn't it?
for Bouanga to start passing the ball.
Yeah.
Because this is not a dig at Bouanga, because for what he is and what LAFC, like what made them successful for the last 2 or 3 years, was good defending, being really solid at the back, really industrious midfield, and Bouanga in transition.
Yep.
Basically being their speed, their chance creation, and their goal scoring, basically all wrapped up into one. But he created chances off the dribble, right? He's not a passer. The amount of times I've seen him actively give up a shot, right? Like clear. There's a clear sighted
Yeah.
goal that he would take. He would gladly take that invitation. And he's actively looking to pass the ball and
Dude,
cross the
Bouanga
ball.
is a different player.
He's a different player now. And it took them signing Son, who's like waving at him like the big smile. Hey, I'm right here. I can keep up with your pace. Pass me
Yeah.
the ball.
Right.
You know what I mean? And
Yep.
also
While he's chasing for the golden boot, by the way.
yeah, totally. Great point, Gordo. And so, look, I think LAFC is a scary, scary prospect right now for the rest of the league. And you have to say that, and then you also have to say to MLS Backlines, please, I beg of you, this is a PSA. If you're going to let Son Heung-min, a guy who torched the Premier League for a number of years, scored double-digit goals for however many years in a row, if you're going to give him 4 or 5 yards of space, 10 yards out from your goal, just take your shin guards off and just walk down the tunnel and wave to your family.
Come stand next to me, man.
Go sit
we can admire what's going on.
Go sit in the Dan Gargan suite, because some of the defending, it's just it pains me as a fan of the league, because I love seeing Bouanga and Son doing what they're doing, attacking, but also like as a guy who was super locked into like trying to stop attackers like that, and not very well, but also I would at least try. I would at least step to them when they were inside the box. Some of the defending, Dan, you saw it up close. You were a defender. I hope that your retired self was turning over in his grave. How poor it was.
As fast as this game is today, it's still, some of the defending is painful. It is genuinely painful to watch. Like, just from foundational principles. Like, they gave
What are we doing?
Dude, like 7-8 yards inside the box. Like, what the hell are you guys doing? And
the alarm bells should be ringing.
St. Louis, not a great case study, because they stink, and that's tough to watch. It is tough to watch, and you understand it. Like, there's 2 games left, 3 games left. You're playing against a team that you give the first goal away to Bouanga, and then you're over. So you are done. Half that roster knows they're done. Like, that's a tough place to play. I've been in that space, but having some personal pride is something that, I don't know, seems to be maybe out the window. But it's not all that different with some of the other teams in the league. This isn't just a St. Louis issue. This is space that Bouanga threatens from almost anywhere on the field, but Son, the clinical aspect of his game, you cannot do anything other than you have to pressure him all over, everywhere he is, and they're not doing that. Gordo, you've been a part of some magical partnerships. You've been around them. Like, what are you seeing from Bouanga and Son, and does it stand out to you as much as it does to Dax and I that admittedly, we're not goal scorers?
It's why this game is so beautiful. There are just some partnerships where it just makes sense to you, and I'll give Dax some credit here. I remember Dax and Schweinsteiger in 2017. I played against them with Colorado, and I'm trying to pressure them from the back as a striker, and I'm screaming at my team, we got to get some pressure to the ball, but they were just so good together, and it was almost immediately. They both understand the same way. There are just some partnerships, and Dax, you can take that one to the grave and smile.
Thank you, buddy.
It is true. And
love you. Pay you later.
And Landon and Kino and Ofemi. Yeah, and it just works, right? And these two, you guys already said it, man. I remember texting you guys on Son's debut. I said, I've never seen Bouanga pass to anybody. Yeah. Even Carlos Vela, who's one of the best strikers that this league has ever seen in his prime. I remember Bouanga not passing to him, and they weren't in sync. It was like two people on two islands trying to do their own thing, and it's pretty cool to watch. I agree with you. The defending has been atrocious, but they're a dual threat because they're both super fast. So these defenders, they pose some really, really big problems. Right? They're like, okay, if I step to him, he's gonna
run by me.
Yeah.
Right. And so then they try to give him some space, and they're both two of the best shooters in the league.
Right foot and left foot. Doesn't matter.
And they just smash it. So it's been really cool to watch that partnership. And and you said it, Dax. Like Son, how likable is this freaking guy?
He's the most likable guy ever, dude. We
He,
interviewed him. We interviewed him on one of our countdown shows. It was a couple weeks ago, and he's such a relatable guy.
yeah,
I've talked about this before, but these humble superstars, they're the
yeah,
best, right?
they're the best.
Basti was the same. He's a very humble guy, and
Yeah,
I just interviewing him, like we talked a little bit about like soccer and obviously his transition here to the US, and he couldn't be more complimentary of everything, right? And he had been on the road for a really long time. I think his first like 3 or 4 games were all road games and like far. Like I remember he went to New England and he's just on these massive flights and he's just like, yeah, it's a little bit different, but I'm really enjoying it. He went out of his way to not make excuses and not kind of lambast it and went, it's a good opportunity for me to get to know my teammates, right? And like it's
yeah,
what Wingert was saying. Like Wingert came
yeah.
on here and was
Yep.
like, dude, Nkosi Tafara is like sitting there having a glass of wine after a game with Hugo Lloris and Son Heung-min, and then he's sitting there like, how did I end up here in
Yeah.
this moment?
How do I
Like,
get on this jet?
what a great story for him. But then the final thing I'll say about him was we asked him about fantasy football because he joined their fantasy football league. I can't tell you guys how many big players and how many foreign guys I've tried to get to join a fantasy football league in Major League Soccer because it's a great way to bond with your teammates. And they're just like, I don't really get it. I don't know. Son's like, yeah, I'm in. I don't understand anything, but I'll do
They're
it
trying to
because the
make
guys,
trades.
yeah, they're
Trying
trying
to
to
make
they're trying to
trades.
make trades. He's like, yeah, they sent me a couple trades and they looked a little fishy. Like it just everything about him just screams great
Yeah.
signing. And I also want to give our insiders a little insight into Gordo is the best, right? We were like, oh, what kind of signing is this in MLS history? Top 3, top 5. Garg said top 10 or something like that. And every time Son had a big performance, Gordo would be like top 4. Next week, top 3. The next week, top 2. Every time we'd get the text, and I'd be like, dude, this guy. I mean, obviously, if he continues on this pace, we knew he would be a great player, but he looks like an all-time great
It's
in
like the
Major League
opposite
Soccer.
of Gordo's handicap, dude. It just drops one spot. It's going to be in the negatives here pretty soon on a weekly basis. You know what the opposite is though?
St.
The
Louis.
opposite is St. Louis City, man. They are a lost
By the
dog.
way, there's a lot of teams that could fall in that category, but we might just
They
pick
are.
on St.
Yeah,
Louis.
no, it is. It is. It's tough. It's tough to see it. It is tough to see it, especially with like the amount of success and the amount of excitement that was around this club for, the opening, which is natural, right? We talked about expansion, the energy that you get. There was a different vibe in that building until Bouanga scored, and as soon as Bouanga scored, it was gone again.
Curtains.
And they're in a unique spot because they not only have a head coaching decision to make, they also have a sporting director decision to make, which some of the names that have come up recently were pretty intriguing. I didn't get a specific name from outside of town, but somebody from the Brentford organization, I think, is being strongly considered. And 2 names that I thought were really interesting that came up, which I don't know if you guys have heard this, but Will Kuhns from the Galaxy,
Oh,
and
yeah.
Corey Ray from Montreal.
Interesting.
My thoughts are that you have to go in-house, as in
Yeah.
in MLS, for some institutional knowledge.
Yeah.
That's the direction that I would go if I was in their camp. But I don't know if either of those guys would be where I would go. Now, granted, I'm not seeing the talent pool that they're looking at, but I thought that the Will Kuntz one was interesting to see and to hear. And I wanted to see kind of what you guys thought.
I'd be shocked if Will Kuntz left. I would be. It would floor
Really?
me if. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Why?
What you just? I mean, you had a nightmare season at the LA Galaxy. I understand that, but I think you put a lot of that down to Ricky's injury. But Will Kuntz put together that MLS Cup winning roster for the Galaxy. He put it together. Full
but
stop.
he's not far from being fired, I would say.
No, I think he's got plenty of time. I think
he's got a leash, but okay.
I think this entire season, dude, when they gave Greg the new contract, I think this entire season is a mulligan for everybody involved with
Sure,
the
but
LA
if
Galaxy.
they don't have a good season next year, you think
Sure,
that's
okay,
going to be in a
yeah,
good spot? He
fine,
could he
fine.
could take this job and give himself 3 years and say, "Hey, I got a 3 to 5 year project," and give himself a nice little paycheck. Go there and start something else
I
before it crumbles.
definitely see your point, Gordo, and I'll echo the fact that I do think St. Louis is a blank canvas and a pretty good opportunity for a sporting director that's ambitious, because I believe that ownership group, Dan, you could probably speak to this better. I believe that ownership group is willing to spend money, and they want a winner in St.
Oh,
Louis.
I think they're definitely going to spend. I think that they're, like I I don't know how many ownership groups would say that they don't want to win, right?
Yeah.
Like, but I do think that this ownership group, some of these younger ownership groups, and specifically the Taylor family and what they're doing in St. Louis, I think they're also willing to spend. Now, like, they're clearly not good enough. They clearly have to protect their investment that they've already made a massive investment. And now I think that they are thinking about, okay, well, how do we step up and compete in a different space? And winning a trophy in this league is not easy. And
No.
what they have right now is not in a good spot. So I could see them spending a pretty good chunk of money. The thing that stuck out to me, Gordo, in what you're saying is very similar to where you're at, and for a Will Kuhns or for somebody that has seasoned experience. I go back to Chris Albright and what he did in Cincinnati. There's a good ownership group in place. There's a good fan base. There's a hunger. There's a desire to compete. And if
Great
you have
infrastructure.
an infrastructure, and if you have the wherewithal, you have the knowledge, you could go in and be successful. Now that's easier said than done. That was just easy for me to say, right? We just laid out a 3-step plan here. But what I think that Will is looking at, because and this comes honestly with no context or no kind of insider information here, but I can't imagine that the relationship with Greg and his experience and what he's done from control within the Galaxy organization, and Will and his experience and what he's done with LAFC and wanting to be or is the guy in terms
Yeah.
of the sporting director with the Galaxy, and the confrontation that has to be there, the reason or the lack of a reason with why they took as long as they did to rehire Greg, and then ultimately it finally does get done. There is definitely, my
Yeah, I agree.
estimation, some real challenge there. And are you going to
I think that's
be able
fair.
to build moving forward? I don't know if that's the case.
I think that's fair. But I
So
also
if
yeah.
you're a career guy in Will Kuntz, and this is a job for you, which he already moved from New York to LA and now from LA potentially somewhere else. The Galaxy, great operation, but being critical of Galaxy, you know what they're staring at across the road? LAFC, which is an absolute rocket ship.
They're a juggernaut right
And
now, man.
that's going to be tough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't disagree. I know Will Coots personally, and I know he's an ambitious guy. I know he loves that job, and I think he's competitive. I mean, I think he wants to get the Galaxy back to the top of the mountain, because this year, I mean, they're competing for the wooden spoon. I mean, worst record in the league. It's just insane. So I don't see it happening. I don't see him leaving. I could be wrong, but again,
I
if you're
tor-
St. Louis, there's two ways to go, Dan. Right? There's institutional knowledge. There's in-house. Which, if you're
Mhm.
doing that, I think John Hackworth should absolutely have some sort of at least opportunity in that to interview and see where it
I'm sure
shakes
he's in
out.
the running. I don't
I'm
know
sure.
if they would give him
Yeah,
the
but
job,
again,
but I don't know.
he's got that institutional knowledge. Or you try to find an Ernst Tanner who came in to Philly and completely blew everyone away with how he's done business and how he's constantly put that roster together. And oh, by the way, went and got St. Louis's old coach, who is probably a favorite for MLS Coach of the Year right now.
Mm-hmm. Gordo?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you as well, Dax. It could go either way. Because that is ultimately the Galaxy job, the job that he has and has earned, is arguably the pinnacle of the league, right?
Yeah.
Along with a couple of other jobs. And for these guys, you have to be super motivated to get into that seat. It's hard to just give it up. But I also see the other side and just saying, listen, I won a championship, and this St. Louis job is a pretty desirable job, for all the reasons that we just said. I think it's really desirable, right? And to go build something, give yourself a 5-year run, and build something of your own. And that's a challenge in its own. Yes, he wants to be successful, but you got to be saying, listen, 4 out of 5 of the last years, we've been absolute dog shit.
Yeah.
We won a championship, but the ownership group, at the Galaxy, they're probably getting a little bit tired of being at the bottom of the table.
I think that you're spot on, Gordo. I think the other layer that is real is the different levels of pressure and expectation that already exist in LA that don't exist in a new market in St. Louis, and the opportunity that's there with those. So, you do have somewhat of a clean slate. And one of the first decisions that the sporting director will make is head coach, which, for right now, I've also heard that U20 Mitrović is the top of the list right now.
Oh,
Which
wow.
then you get to make
Our boy.
you get to
Marko.
make that decision. You guys obviously have some history with him.
Yeah.
Before we jump into the U20 World Cup, do you see him as a successful head coach in Major League Soccer? Do you see that as a pathway that he would take?
Gordo, what do you think? We had him. He was our assistant coach. I had him for 3 years under Veljko Paunović. And my initial answer to that and my initial thought would be no. But I tell you what, man, I've been super impressed with him in the youth national team ranks. I've heard really good things. He coached the Olympic team
Right.
out over in Paris, and now he's coaching the Under-20 World Cup. So I like his path as an assistant coach in Major League Soccer for a while. He was Pano's assistant over at Reading, I believe, in the championship.
Yep.
And I got to be honest, Gordo, when we were together, I asked Marko about this, and I was like, "Hey, do you have a desire to become a head coach?" And he said, I would never say no, but right now, like I'm comfortable. I know my role. I know my value in my role, and so I would have said, yeah, no, he doesn't really want to become a head coach. But now, my opinion of that has changed, and I always thought he saw the game well. I aligned with him on a lot of things tactically, with how he saw the game. And I've heard good things. I've heard good things from some players who have played for him, some of the younger players that did go to the Olympics, and some of the guys that are a part of the Under-20 World Cup. And so I think he would absolutely be a good head coach in Major League Soccer now that I've heard those different types of things. I don't know how you felt about it.
Yeah, I always loved Marko. Right,
He's great.
It's easy, but it's easy to love your assistant coach.
It is. It's a good point.
It really is. And so, I mean, I've had some great assistant coaches over the years that can go either way. Like Pat Noonan. What an amazing assistant coach. He was one of my favorites of all time. He would just play the role perfectly for Bruce. He knew what to do, when to say it, what not to say. He just played it perfect. And look what he's done. Like, unbelievable. And to be honest, I don't even know if I would have pictured, the amount of success that Pat's had, right?
Yeah.
Because it's hard sometimes as an assistant coach to even say what you have to back up the coach, and you're basically just you're the liaison between coach and player, right? Marko's the same. It's hard to know what he's doing. I do know that he knows the game. I know that he's fiery. I love a lot of things about him. I don't know too much about his stint in the U.S., but I think that all these good assistant coaches deserve at some point a shot at it. Right? And the other example of the other side is Robin Fraser. I played for, he was the assistant coach when I played for Chivas, and I thought he was the best assistant coach, very knowledgeable, unbelievable assistant coach. Unbelievable.
Yep.
And then he goes and he's had a couple shots at being the head dog, and it hasn't worked out for him. So some people are just better suited as assistant coaches, and then they're going to get their shot, which is a tough road, because assistant coaches, what do they get?
Yeah.
In their first shot, they usually get a club that is not willing to spend a lot of money on a coach.
Yeah.
And are willing to give you some time, and they're not going to give you the players you want. And I still think Robin Fraser is one of the smartest, like the guys that you when they speak, you believe them.
Yeah.
But it just never worked out. So I think I would love to see Marko as the head.
I do too. I would like to see him get a chance, because
Yeah.
I think we're seeing this trend now. I don't know if you guys agree or not, but I do think we're seeing this trend where old school coaches that have had success in the league, I think people see kind of a new era coming out of Major League Soccer right now, where you need to try to find the next Wilfred Nancy, right?
Yeah.
I mean, look at how many great coaches. Like I look at a guy like Adrian Heath. I look at a guy like Gary Smith. Look at a guy like Dom Kinnear. All had success in Major League Soccer to varying degrees, and all seemingly would jump at the opportunity to try to go and interview with a club, right? But I think clubs are leaning more now towards maybe younger, maybe more fresh ideas. Maybe now the game is changing, right? There are new ideas constantly filtered in and out of the game. It's really cyclical. And so I think Marko's young enough to kind of be in that conversation of, hey, like we should give this guy a shot because he's got fresh ideas and no one has before. Look at Mikey Veras. Mikey Veras, BJ Callahan, right? No head coaching experience. They've come in and done phenomenally well. So I think maybe that's where ownership groups' heads are at. And honestly, if Marko got the job, I think that'd be a good hire.
Absolutely.
I think the game is changing. The profile of a good teacher, I think, is really important because I think that the players that are being played are more students of the actual game. I don't know. I think about us and like, not that we didn't approach things tactically, but it was different. It was the expectation on the field was different, the deliverable was different, and the way that coaches managed us, I think, was also different. And I think that profiles of successful head coaches are approaching that as well. And that's not to discredit any of the guys that you mentioned, Dax, but the way that coaches are developing, I think, is different also.
They're ruining the game is what they're doing. But that's fine.
I will also say,
I want to go back to Frank Yallop. Hey, hit it to the 9, knock it down, play it to the corner, whip in a.
This is a simple game. I don't want my goalkeeper playing out of the back. Kick the dang ball as far as you want. I don't need you to be Ronaldinho out there.
I want to get sidetracked, but I hate watching modern day football.
Dude, we gotta limit the words for Gordo. Okay, only a couple words. Kick to 9.
Okay, we keep
all right, number 9. Chest the dang ball down. You better learn how to hold it.
It is. I will say, critically, I'm somewhat on board with you, Gordo. I do think that it's getting pretty boring in a lot of ways. But we're also like
possession. It's like watching a possession game.
I tell you,
dude, we're refereeing. We are refereeing a lot of it out of the game too, and that's not a slight on referees. That's a slight on leagues. They want to protect the players, but there's no physicality in the game anymore.
Gordo, I hope you watch Minnesota United religiously because they are your team.
Yes,
boot the ball long, set pieces, defend deep. Head the ball, like you'll love Minnesota, bro. That's your team.
I love them. Risk it all. I don't care. Like, just score more goals than the other team. It's easy.
Simple game, guys. Simple game.
Simple game. All right. Before we move on from the World Cup, though, which starts today, 16 of 21 players in MLS. Does that say anything to you, Gordo? Does that mean anything for the U20 World Cup?
Yeah, it means a ton.
Does it?
Yeah, I think. Well, to me, it does.
Okay. What?
Well, I think that, what it means is that we're retaining some of our homegrown players and playing them in our domestic league, which is important for us.
Okay.
Because in years past, 10, 20 years ago when we were young, it was the Johnny O'Briens, it was the Robbie Rogers, it was all these guys that were going over and getting plucked at 15, 16 years old and going to Ajax or going to these small clubs. And they're being trained overseas, and now 16 out of 21 is a big number of people that, I mean, we talk a lot of crap about our youth system and the products that we're developing, but, we're able to retain them and have them contributing in our domestic league, which I think is very, very important for Major League Soccer because we've entered into this danger zone where American players, the roster spots are very, very limited. So I think that's a great sign for us to have as many domestic American players in MLS competing for spots as possible, because there's a ton of talent in the rest of the world that are dying to come to our league. It's a good problem to have, but I think it's good. It says a lot for us.
I haven't looked at this, but Dax, off the cuff, I thought that your roster when you played would be more NCAA complexion. Like guys,
it did. That was going to be my point. That was exactly my point. Is that you can see in 20 years. I played in the 2007 U20 World Cup in Canada, and our roster, really strong roster. We made a really exciting run to the quarterfinal. Probably should have done more and done better. We lost to Austria in the quarterfinals, which was very disappointing because we were the better team. But I digress. Our roster was littered with college players. Robbie Rogers was still in college at the time. That performance in the U20 World Cup, it earned him a move to Europe. Sal Zizzo, he was still in college at the time. His performance earned him a move to Europe. We had a couple goalkeepers that were still in college at the time, earned them professional contracts, right? And so nowadays, you fast forward. I'm sorry, if you're a college player, if you're a great college player, you're not even sniffing this roster.
If you're a great college player right now, you're also 26 years old.
You're 26 years old playing in D2. Okay.
Those two words don't go together anymore.
Yeah, you have no chance.
College player is different than great player overall.
But I also think it speaks to the fact that Major League Soccer is doing a great job developing young players, and we've seen that. And there's been a tangible shift in the last 10 years. But it also means, look, there are some really talented American players that are age eligible playing in Europe, and the European clubs, they just don't, they have no obligation to release their players for a tournament like this. And if you're contributing in Europe at a first team level, you're not going to be released. So I think there's probably 3 or 4 players that could have made this roster and made it better, but their club teams were like, nope, we're not letting our highly talented young players go, which is an opportunity for others.
Put yourself in a sporting director position, Dax. Are you saying no to that?
No, I'm not. But again, I think it's all contextual. My context is that I played in the U20 World Cup. I found a ton of value in it. I asked my club, FC Dallas, if I could go because I knew it was going to be a great opportunity. And so if you're like, I forgot who it was. I think it was it not the Chicago Fire that didn't release Brian Gutierrez and Chris Brady to go to either the U20 World Cup or the Olympics? Maybe I can't.
It was the Olympics.
Yeah. So
that's crazy.
That hurts. Like that would hurt as a player. And I understand clubs not wanting to lose their best players, no matter how young they are. But I also think you have to take into account how important it is for players to represent their country and represent at a World Cup. Like that was really valuable.
What about
to
the player you're going to get back? You know,
like
obviously
a better, confident player.
Maybe you're risking injury, but you're risking injury having them stay home too.
Yeah, of course.
That's the only negative is injury. But I mean, you can't play scared, and they're going to go. I mean, what are players these days? They're trading cards. They hold value, so they're going to go. And their price, they show well, their price tag goes up, and you make more money. You're going to show your asset to the rest of the world, right? So you get a better, more experienced, more confident, potentially player coming back, and you get somebody that's maybe doubled his price.
Yeah, I agree.
His price tag.
2 quick stories about my U20 World Cup, very fast. Our head coach, friend of the pod, Thomas Rongen, Dutch legend of the game.
Hilarious.
Great guy, hilarious dude. Alarming individual to have coach you when you're a teenager. All right, let me just put it that way. When he wasn't smoking heaters outside the hotel, he was out somewhere. He was at a bar or something. But he was a good coach and he was a great guy. We had a training session before our first game, and we were playing. I believe we were playing South Korea. Really, really good team. Like just tough teams to play. And Michael Bradley and a striker that had barely been in camps with us, Gabe Ferrari, they essentially got into a fist fight on the field for reasons unknown. It was just, 2 guys peacocking it. And then fists are thrown. Everyone's like, whoa, guys, we got a game tomorrow. Come on, team. And Ron circles everyone up and he starts laughing. He's like, guys, I absolutely love that. He's like, I love that this just happened. I've never coached a team or a tournament or a game where we've had a fist fight the day before the game, where we haven't gone on and won the game or had a great tournament. And he's like, I love that. Good for you guys. This is going to be awesome. And we're like, all right, man, like whatever you say. Went on a really good run. We like I said, we made the quarterfinals, should have gone further. But he knew exactly what we were getting into in that tournament. And then against round of 16, we beat Uruguay to advance to the quarterfinals. They had Edison Cavani and Luis Suarez up top. And I get subbed into the game. We get a red card. We go down a man. I get subbed into the game as a center midfielder. And we go down a man. Rongen moves me to right fullback. and Luis Suarez was playing right winger, and I literally see his coach yell at Luis Suarez to switch sides to come and play against me. And long story short, I shut him down. No problem.
Yeah, you did.
We ended up winning the game, and I'll say there was a massive fight after the game. Shocker with Uruguay and Luis Suarez involved, but there was a huge little brawl after the game.
Oh, you mean he's been doing this for a while?
Let's just say it was a harbinger of things to come. All right. So, anyways, maybe we can find that clip on YouTube of us giving it little business with Uruguay after the game. But it was a great experience. I hope our players really enjoy the experience, because it's not just about the games. It's about being in Chile, being in that environment, playing in a World Cup. Go enjoy it. I hope our
All right,
boys
a bunch
do
of
well.
college kids made it to the quarterfinal in 2007. Gordo, are they getting past the quarterfinal this year?
Yeah. Yeah.
Go on, son.
Why not? Let's go support them, dude. I'm pumped. I don't think I've ever watched a U20 game, and I'm more excited to watch that than any of the crap.
What's it on? Is it on
tonight.
Paramount?
Unclear.
Unclear.
We'll figure it out.
Uncertain.
We'll announce.
Okay. Dax, are they getting past the quarterfinal?
Yeah, I think they are. I think that we have a really talented roster. I think we've got some very good players. A couple players that I played with in Atlanta, part of that roster. Luke Brennan, Noah Cobb, shout out to those guys. Gozo, really talented player from Salt Lake. They've got some very exciting prospects on that roster. I think Marko Mitrović will have learned a lot from the Olympic team.
Yep.
I think we make it to the semis.
All right.
FS1.
Producer Sam, FS1 with the info. We appreciate you. So, all right. So 7 o'clock tonight. Tune in. We got I'm taking them past the quarterfinal. And then I'm taking Mitrović to get a legit job in MLS. I don't know if it'll be St. Louis, but I see that pathway. I'm into it. One thing I definitely got wrong was Philly participating in a U.S. Open Cup final. That's I missed on that one. Nashville blew their doors off. Nashville, Austin. Dax, you sticking with Nashville here?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
This is Nashville's game to lose. They beat the best team in the tournament in Philly. I think this is the year Nashville absolutely wins a trophy. I think they've been in bad form recently, Nashville. I think they've lost 4 of 5 in MLS play. And the only game they won was against a really heavily rotated Orlando City. So, Nashville, coming off a big win on the weekend. I'm absolutely taking them against Austin. Austin, no disrespect to Austin, but I just don't think Austin's as good of a team as Nashville, and I don't think Austin being at home really matters much. So
yeah, Gordo, you've been on an underdog in championship games. Does Austin have a shot here or no?
Yeah, they're at home, bro.
Yeah,
they're at home.
Yeah,
I'm not saying they don't have a shot.
Do they fill the stadium?
I hope so, man. They got a good crowd down there. I don't care who wins it.
I hope they do.
I hope they do too. I'm just curious what you guys think if Austin's going to fill the stadium in the year that they're having with
I think their fans show out. I think they get a sellout.
I'm happy to see either one of them win. I think
be the first trophy for either club.
First trophy for either club. The city has supported them, have great backings. They both deserve it. They've been great additions to the MLS, in my opinion. But
Is McConaughey in the building?
I'd like to see McConaughey.
He better be in the building.
Yeah,
he better be.
You
got McConaughey tweeting about CJ Fodre.
Dude, he could be on site in the Serengeti right now filming. Like you never know where this dude is. Like he's got his pants off somewhere and he's doing a commercial shoot or reading from his book of poetry in the middle of London. Who knows?
He's being Sherpa'd up Mount Everest right now.
Yeah, like he is the most interesting man in the world. That guy, Matthew McConaughey. Okay.
Who you got, Gargs?
I think I tend to agree with Gordo. I think playing at home is a neutralizer. And I don't know what it is about Nashville. I have a hard time endorsing them. I don't know why. I don't love it. So I think that I don't know. I think it's a coin flip. I will
Go ahead. Take Austin. I know you want to. You guys can gang up on me.
It's at home. I'm taking Austin. Taking
I
Austin.
knew
I'm
it.
taking the home team. I like an underdog. I'm taking the home team. They, I think he's gonna have him riled up. I like it. Last thing that you guys have no experience in. Both beautiful heads of hair on top of your head. Landon, our good buddy, has has sent out
PSA.
a PSA crowdsourcing opinions on how he should address his hairline or whatever we're calling on top of his head, the bird's nest that is rapidly disintegrating. Every man goes through this. It's not an easy conversation for him. I can't, but he's been taking grief for this for a while. I didn't see this until you sent it to me this morning, Gordo, which made me laugh out loud. I haven't laughed out loud in a while. So that I do appreciate that. Are you even qualified to offer him opinions, either of you, with full heads of hair? Because I don't know if that's the case.
Yes,
you are
because yes, we're watching. He can't even see what's going on.
You're watching the car crash.
If you can't get opinions from your friends, who can you get opinions from? So
all right,
sure.
so then what are you giving them, Gordo?
Listen,
what are you giving? What are you got a line to Landon right now because we know he watches. So what are you telling him?
This is a post I've been waiting for 20 years, like 20 years. And he finally did it. I was laughing and I was so proud of him for just getting it out. He should be talking
Embrace
about
it, man.
all the time. But the one thing I gotta say to him, dude, is like, listen, we tried the plugs. Okay, so there are reasons that we grow, vegetables in certain areas of the country. Okay. In certain places in the world. You have the Sahara Desert on the top of your head. You can't grow anything. You can't plug. If you can't plug,
we're in a drought. We're in a drought for 20 years there.
It's saying no. It's saying no. You have to go bald. Bald's beautiful. Go match Tim Howard, your co-host. You just got to do it, buddy.
I love that, Gordo. I love how you equated that to our agriculture industry. Something I never thought we would see on Journeymen, but here we are. I agree with Gordo, but listen, Landon already said he's not going bald. I think the bald with a beard look is a good look, and I think Landon can pull off a good beard.
Yeah.
So you get the Unfiltered podcast with Tim, bald, great beard. Landon, bald, great beard. Like, you know what I mean? I think that would take them to another level. But if you're going wig and toupee, I think Landon's got.
What do you think the hesitancy is? Why is
I don't know. I don't know.
Against
I don't know. Not sure. But
maybe
you should answer that as knowing him. You guys, it's non-negotiable.
It's a non-starter.
Yeah,
it's a non-starter for him.
You guys know him better than I do. I love Landon. He's a great dude. I think he should just be like, you know what? Let me just switch this up, because ever since he was 17, he's had short hair, right? And it was balding. Yeah. I want to see the Alan Gordon. I want to see the Alan Gordon from the Goonies days. Just throw that thing on. I want to see him putting the hair behind the ears. Like, what a great look that would.
Funny, dude.
That would change the world. I want to see Alan Gordon. I want to see, maybe we could get a mock-up. Maybe producer Sam could get a mock-up of Gordo from the Goonies days, headband on with Landon. That would be awesome.
Dude, I'd like to see Landon just maybe change the hairstyle on a weekly basis. If we're going wig, let's lean into
Mohawk.
Let's go deep into it. Let's go colors. Let's go different styles. Let's change it up. And I think. Dude,
like the modern day David Beckham.
Incredible if he did that.
The modern day David Beckham. Let's give him cornrows. Dude, I'd love to see it all on LD.
You imagine if he did this?
That would be amazing, dude. That would be amazing.
I'm gonna
on a weekly basis. You're not even gonna know. So kind of like Lee Corso. Like Lee Corso shows up and puts the mascot's head on.
Yeah. He shows up.
You don't know what Landon's coming with. He just comes with a new hairstyle, a different color, different length, different cut, different everything. And we're taking bets on it. I love it.
And by the way, shout out to Landon for being vulnerable about that. Yeah. I mean, it can't be easy, bro. That hair for a guy. Dude, that's a big thing for all of us to worry about. But I gotta say, for him to go and just do that publicly, just put it out there, dude. Full credit to you.
I want to hear the origin of this though. Like, why now? Why not?
Why now?
Where are we at?
We're
There's
20
gotta be
years late, bud.
Landon is a smart guy. He's not crowdsourcing this for no reason. It's either he's trying to get airline tickets from Turkish Airlines. There could be a sponsorship in play here where he don't want to pay for it.
Gordo already said it's the Sahara up there. He said the plugs didn't work. I don't know if Turkey can even fix that.
I don't know, man. Dude, we got to get him on. We got to find out who's pushing him. Who's pushing? Is it Tim? Is it
Could
Timmy?
be Tim. Could be Tim. Bald is beautiful.
It's unbelievable. All right, LD. Hey, we're here for you, bub. Why don't you just jump in? We'll chop it up. We'll throw you in the soup. We'll see where we land. I think we got lots of options here. The number one for me, I would love to see like the late 70s where he lets the bottom grow and he's got some flow. He's got some cabbage in the back and,
I love it.
And he's bald on top. I think it's a good look. It reminds me of my dad playing softball when I was like 8 years old. Just the flow on the bottom, just completely bald on top. My dad, one of his favorite sayings was, which made no sense, grass don't grow on a busy street, talking about the top of his head like he was this like sex like,
he's got New York City up there on his head.
What a goof, huh? All right, Gordo, Dax, Journeymen. That's been fun. Let's see how we do. U20 World Cup, Open Cup final, and a sprint to the finish of the MLS season. Journeymen, we're out.